Hello everyone, my name is Yi-Hao Peng. Today I'm going to present the work, SpeechBubbles, Enhancing Captioning Experiences for Deaf and Hard of Hearing People in Group Conversations. This is joint work with my advisor, Professor Mike Chen, and my lab mates at National Taiwan University at CI Lab. First, let's imagine you are deaf and hard of hearing, and let's experience how we would go through our daily lives. Are you able to follow the conversation? So, how can we make the experience better? Today, deaf and hard of hearing users use hearing aids and lip reading. This may work when there is only one person in a conversation. However, it tends to break down in group conversations. To better understand the problems DH users face in group conversations, we first conducted a semi-structured interview with 8 DH participants to understand their pain points. Most participants expressed concerns that they had trouble distinguishing which speaker was talking when several people speak simultaneously. Previous research has proposed using augmented reality glasses to provide real-time captioning. However, it is not an easy to identify and follow who said what. Another problem DH people mention is that when it comes to identifying the sound from out-of-view speakers, the voice come at the back would be especially hard to recognize, since modern hearing aids are often unable to fully retrieve sounds from that direction. So, take this view again, for example. What if the utterance is coming from someone who is not in the view? Those two questions I mentioned are part of issues that should be considered when doing captioning in AR, highlighting the limitation of current captioning system. To understand how users would like in an augmented reality captioning interface, we went through a participator's design process and asked participants to describe and sketch their ideal designs in group conversation scenarios. Here are some of the actual design sketches. Most participants drew bubble-like visualization anchored to the speaker instead of the traditional captioning. During the process, we collected users' ideas to further explore different design dimensions. We categorized participants' feedback into these 4 key dimensions. The first one is speaker associations with the respective speakers. The second one is the amount of content to display. It's about what is the ideal amount of content to show. The third one is the order of the utterances, referred to how to properly indicate the ordering of speech from different speakers. The last one is out-of-view speakers. It's about how we display the utterances and locations of speakers who are outside the field of view of the users. We evaluate multiple designs for each dimension through a user study. We invited 12 DH participants for our study. For each design dimension, we show participants multiple design videos and ask them for feedback. The videos were shown on a computer monitor because it provided a wider field of view that is more similar with future AR devices. After watching each design, we asked participants to rate comprehension and comfort on a 5-point Likert scale. After watching all the designs for design dimension, we also asked them to rank by preference. For speaker association, we compare a single-line scrolling text bubble with traditional captioning. Statistically, the one-line speech bubble significantly outperformed traditional captioning in both comprehension and comfort. The result also showed that the bubble-like visualization is preferred over traditional captioning, since it helps users comprehend the conversation more easily. The second aspect was focused on designs that reflects the consideration of amount of content. We include 1-line, 2-line, and 3-line scrolling text bubble to explore the proper amount of displayed content on AR devices. Statistically, the 2-line and 3-line bubbles were rated significantly higher for both comprehension and comfort compared to the single-line version. In terms of ranking, multiple-line bubbles are preferred over single-line one. Participants comment that multiple-line bubbles provide more history of the speech. The third dimension focused on how to best show the ordering of the speech. We chose one of the multiple-line bubble, 2-line bubble, as a baseline for comparison according to Studies 1 results. We also provided an enumerated bubble that numbered each bubbles according to its temporal order in the conversations, and a rising bubble that moves directionally upward after displaying on the user's view and chooses the dialogue's order by the bubble's height. Let's see how the real prototype applies different kinds of design to give a clearer view of what users actually have seen. First one is scrolling text bubble. The second one is number bubble. And the third one is the rising bubble. Statistically, we find out that the rising bubble let users comprehend the conversations with least effort, which might be a reason why it got the most preference. Participant 7 commented that the rising bubble were especially helpful for faster conversation when multiple people were speaking. The fourth part of our study was focused on how to display the locations and utterances of the audio speakers. First, we explore the possibilities of visualizing audio speakers' location. We provide 3 types of designs for hinting at the relative location of audio speakers. The first one is the bidirectional one, for determining the direction of the audio speakers by only indicating whether the speaker is located at the left or the right of the users. The second one is with numeric angle, for presenting the angle between the speakers and the users from 0 to 180 degrees. The last one is egocentric way, by converting the top view of the relation between users and audio people into the view you see in the AR devices, where the bottom of the view denotes position behind the users. Here, you can see the clips for comparison on hinting audio speakers' location. Statistically, the bidirectional design were rated significantly higher for both comprehension and comfort. The results show that the bidirectional one is the most preferred visualization for the audio speaker's location because it provides the clearest information that people can easily recognize and take the consecutive actions. Secondly, for exploring suitable way to caption out-of-view speakers' utterances, we offer 3 design types for providing hints. The first one is ellipsis for indicating when someone is talking. The second one is partial content of what the speaker said. And the last one is complete content of what the speaker said. As you can see, there are clips for comparisons on out-of-view speakers' utterances. Statistically, the hint bubble with partial or complete content were rated significantly higher in both comprehension and comfort. The results also show that the caption with partial or complete content for out-of-view speakers' utterances are preferred over only captioning with ellipsis. Participant 8 mentioned that showing words in the hint bubble lets him realize that there is communication rather than just sound take place outside my view. To give a quick review on 4 core design considerations and corresponding solutions, we respectfully came out with the preferable design choice based on DHS people's assessment. As for association utterance with speakers, we found out speech bubble is preferred over the traditional captioning. Secondly, as for adequate amount of content, multiple line bubble is preferred over single line one. Third, when considering ordering, the rising bubble got most preference over other display methods. Lastly, for notifying speech from out-of-view speakers, hint with content is preferred over hint with symbol, while for notifying locations of out-of-view speakers, hint with bidirectional way is most preferred method. To collect user feedback on a real augmented reality device, we developed a SpeechBubbles prototype using Microsoft HoloLens and use Google Recognition API for real-time captioning. We recruit 6 DH participants and compare speech bubbles and traditional captioning and ask them to their preference. Results show that 5 of 6 participants prefer speech bubbles over traditional captioning. The one participant who preferred the traditional one commented that he was more familiar with the traditional captioning. For future work, we would like to help DH people participate in two-way communications by supporting captioning for sign language. Furthermore, we plan to explore multilingual communication using speech bubbles to facilitate groups of users speaking in different languages. And that's it. That's my work. Thank you.
Questions? So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So you talked about looking at bi-directional conversation, and when the person is out of view, you had different techniques you were trying out, right?
Yeah.
One of the techniques was that the arrow points in the direction where the user is placed. So what if there are multiple people who are out of the view and in the same direction? What happens then?
So you mean the bi-directional way, or? Okay. So if there are multiple speakers out of the user's view in the same size, the bubble will just like vertically placed on the view so that it just shows there are some people in that side. And our intention is to indicate that there are some people talking at that side. So we expect that the users will turn their heads into that way and see the conversations.
Got it.
Thank you for your presentation. It was amazing, and we're along the same lines when we're looking at this. I think that one of the biggest challenges is looking at the time factor when the person is speaking. How do you know when to interrupt that person, or how do you know when their conversation's over as far as the captioning or the bubbles that you're using with your technology?
Yeah, so actually for now our system is like it's kind of based because of the limitation of the system, it will cause the time delay for the bubble showing on the view, so that if once you see the words from the speakers, it actually maybe just speak another 2 or 3 sentences. So I think, and that might be our limitation of our system so far. Yeah, but I think that's a good question, and we would like to explore in the future. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you again. I appreciate that and your presentation. I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the great talk.